finishing this task. That is final boss status.
Callie Smith will be our first server. Over to Annalie Waters in the green. Best 2 out of 3, games to 11. Side out scoring, and you have to win by 2. Catch you up on the rest of the rules as soon as we get there and as soon as they're relevant. Johns takes a little off it, rolls it to the feet of Callie Smith, using the wind to his advantage early. Side out right away for the world number 1.
0-0-1. Point.
Waters gets away with the pop-up. Hard to gauge the best shot to hit with these wind conditions, but typically, Rob, that kitchen is viewed as a safety valve for these pros to utilize to gain possession of the kitchen, so to speak.
Yes. The great neutralizer, the great equalizer. ATP defended.
For a winner off the tape.
Yeah, that kitchen or that non-volley zone, that area marked off towards the net, that's the no-go zone. That's where you cannot take the ball out of the air, and it's utilized to deny your opponents the volley, force them to play it off the bounce.
Point.
A beautiful finishing touch from Ben Johns. Whips it to the feet of Jay Devilliers. Talk about greatness. Annalie Waters is approaching the triple 50, Rob. 48 singles titles, 47 in women's doubles, and 49 in mixed. She could eclipse that 50 milestone with Ben this weekend.
Heavy swings from Jay.
Second serve.
Yeah, Jay Devilliers had to get surgery. He is fully healthy this season, but was out for a lot of 2024. Good to see him healthy again.
Point.
Just missed there. Could chalk up those errors to the wind at this moment. It has been a little breezy, unpredictably here in Texas today.
Side out.
Unaffected that time. Callie Smith looking to shift gears here.
0-4-1.
Utah's finest.
Wow, through the middle.
Serve.
Hard ball to read and to defend against, because that looks like a dink to me.
Yeah, and she just cracks that ball so well. You mentioned earlier, Michelle, the way she takes time away for her opponents to react to that ball. It's the best in the business.
Side out.
And that's almost what a dink rally looks like in 2025.
4-0-1.
Ooh, nice ATP to add to the highlight reel, but the ball prior was out. The Callie Smith fans are in the house to support.
Should be worth 2 points. Very nice. Waters off the back foot.
Point.
And it's the spot. You mentioned this again earlier, Michelle. The spots that Annalie Waters picks is what separates her from the rest. It's unbelievable.
Point.
This is Jane Kelly's first time on center court today.
6-0-2.
Might play a little different. A little bit behind Ben, handles. Waters at her feet. Too much.
Zero, 6-1.
Up 6, but that posture from Ben could be motivating for Callie Smith and Jay Devilliers.
Callie Smith springs forward for the offensive play on the forehand side. D1 tennis star, turned pickleball star.
1-6-1.
Same with Jay Devilliers.
Second serve.
Picking apart the opponents again with that nasty backhand roll is Ben Johns. It's his patented shot. Why is he so good at it for those new to Ben Johns?
1-6-2.
Similar to Emily Waters, it's the timing. I mean, every shot takes, the decision-making and the execution. He has both.
Side out.
As a beginner, you want to use less wrist. You want to make sure you're using the whole arm, the big hinges from the shoulder. But the masters of the game, while using the shoulder, will utilize the wrist as well for that extra little
6-1-1.
Ben's one of the best at it.
Point.
Tough. Texas
7-1-1.
crowd is showing out in huge numbers here.
It's one of the hotbeds, especially at the recreational level. Great pressure from
Second
Jay
serve.
Devilliers, forcing a second serve situation for Waters and Johns. Spot in the quarterfinal on the line.
7-1-2. Point.
Yep.
8-1-2.
Just a routine reset to then attack for Waters. Resets it cross court, keeps it out of harm's way, and then right out of the gate attacks Jay Devilliers down the line. She makes it look easy, and it's not.
Timeout receiver.
Not to mention to get a ball
9-1-2.
past the frame of Jay Devilliers, who covers the court just about as well as anybody.
Yes.
The area
9-1-2.
back to serve now to Jay Devilliers.
Side out.
Side out earned by Smith and Devilliers after calling the timeout.
One 9-1.
Through the middle,
Second
Waters
serve.
on the attack. One of the best attackers off the bounce. And there's why.
1-9-2.
Beautiful
Point.
defense from Callie Smith in that transition zone. No man's land, as they refer to it, and I like to refer to it as the
2-9-2.
most under-practiced area on the court.
Why is that?
Side out.
Well, people like to dink at the kitchen line. They like to practice their thirds and their serves from the baseline, but they oftentimes forget to
9-2-1.
practice shots from that center, that transition area. Clutch shots from Callie Smith
Second serve.
to shut down Ben on that previous one.
What's your favorite way to drill the transition area?
I like to work my way
9-2-2.
in, work my way out. Sometimes they call it the slinky drill, but we call it an inchworm drill, where you take a volley, take an inch forward, take a volley, inch forward. A lot of good
Point.
reps.
Game point.
Taking the ball out of the air or off the bounce in that zone. Great practice.
Game point in a
10-2-2.
hurry for Waters and Johns. Down the line it
Point
goes. And a
Timeout
nod of
changes.
approval from Jay Devilliers. Even he's impressed with the attack off the bounce from Annalie Waters. A fitting way to end the first, 11-2. And we'll be right back with game two, as Waters and Johns are one game away from securing their spot into the quarterfinal rounds from Texas. Here at the courts of McKinney, as we welcome you back to the
Vulcan ball,
CIBC
game two,
Texas
time
Open.
in, 0-0-2.
By Fasinra. Game two starts almost the same way game one started, with Waters attacking off the bounce. Sign out early for Callie Jo Smith.
0-0-1.
Jay Devilliers.
Point.
Big rip from Callie Smith.
Yeah, I'm finally hearing a nice come on from Callie. That's a
1-0-1.
great sign. for Smith Devilliers.
Point. Two, 0-1.
Everything coming with pace on the side of Callie Smith, and Jay Devilliers working with the wind, hitting into it on that side.
That's not an easy shot to
3-0-1.
execute, but deciding to take that volley there for Jay. Heavy stuff.
Great defense. Can they get out of it? No, they won't.
Second serve.
The heaviest of balls deriving from Ben Johns there.
3-0-2.
Swing speed, that put away is going to get it done.
Side out.
Full swap team from Ben Johns on the backhand side, side out, looking for the scoreboard here in game 2.
0-3-1.
Athletic play from Jay
Second
Devilliers,
serve.
and that's what we call a Burt.
Yes, let's go. The opposite side of the court,
0-3-2.
Ernie. So good from Jay, so rare.
Late takeoff, too, from Jay Devilliers.
The late
So
takeoff is
good.
good. The later the takeoff, the better, in all honesty. Zero indication. Gives them no time to go
1-3-2.
elsewhere. Haymakers.
Side
Just
out.
wide. Much better start for Smith and Devilliers.
3-1-1.
Jay Devilliers imposing his offense on the match.
That is the mode it's going to take to get it done. We've seen it from Jay before. He's one of the best gamers in the game.
4-1-1.
Heavy strike. He's going to stay on him. Off court.
Second serve.
It's tough to keep that flame lit, especially when you're hitting the ball
4-1-2.
so well. You want to just do it harder. It's like that, like in golf, when you make that perfect shot and then you want to make it even better. Not ideal. Fakes drive, dinks cross court. Ben everywhere now. Waters dinking from outside of the sideline. Now the chess. Kelly hits
Side
it
out.
up, and it is off the court.
How do you explain the more patient points like that with the dink
1-4-1.
cross court between the ladies?
Yeah, well, when your opponent starts to reveal how capable they are in the hand speed, it's when you double down on the patience and deny those attacks. It's the great utilization of the kitchen area is to deny the out-of-the-air ball from your opponents. Forcing your opponent to hit up on the ball.
Second
Smith
serve.
gets one out of the air. Point to what you were talking about. Dink was left a little bit high, and that was the perfect moment to
1-4-2.
strike. Callie Smith identified it early and hit the ball home, and a big drive
Point.
from Waters catches Callie Smith on its way out.
Yeah.
2-4-2.
Sometimes if you identify the ball going out, you can get your paddle out of the way, but not so much your
Side
jaw.
out. 4-2-1.
Jay's there. Oh, that's a good shot from Kelly.
Point.
Great setup.
And this game's totally different than game one. Jay and Callie are having some
5-2-1.
really strong solace getting to that kitchen line, getting to that neutral phase, as we call it, when all 4 players are at that kitchen line for that offensive advantage. Yeah, he tried to take it early there, and Ben punished him for it. They talk about patience in terms of decision-making, dinking, what have you, but also the patience of acquiring that kitchen line, etc.
Wow. Hand speed. Unbelievable on both sides, and unlucky. That wind pulled that ball wide for Jay Devilliers. Converts.
Yeah, the initiate from Jay here was a little weak. Weight was a little back, and Ben and Annalie Waters are able to take full control. Ooh, Ben misses the drop.
Wind a little tricky on that side, apparently, at the moment for Ben
2-5-2.
Johns.
Point. Three, 5-2.
And hitting out ball potentially doesn't matter. Still finds a way to get the ball down. Chance to tie it here on the paddle of Ben Johns.
Look at this last put away here. Really no backswing, just all out in front, to the
4-5-2.
ball, through the ball. Pickleball getaways, Preston buys, patent pending. ATP.
Ooh, just feeding the athleticism of Annalie Waters. Round the post she went.
This is where the game has evolved to. The ATP is going to happen. The opponent is going to be there for defense. You can see Ben is in perfect position for that next ball as well.
Point.
And now they are on the destructive route.
Yes.
You only get 1 timeout per game, 1 free challenge per game. So Jay and Callie debating when to use that free timeout.
Ben Johns, Annalie Waters,
6-5-2.
known for scoring 8+ points in a row. Pickleball is a game of streaks, a game of morale. Ben out of the air placement, it's good.
Point.
Makes it look easy, just routine stuff for the world #1. They always seem to be in the right place at the right time, Rob. And you talk about that paddle out in front.
7-5-2.
It's deceptive because it feels like in pickleball you need this juicy swing to get a good play on it. Ben defies that logic. How do you explain what the difference
Timeout
is?
receivers, 8-5-2.
Yeah, right place, right time. They have fantastic anticipation, and they're very proactive with their setup, their preparation. So they're relocating, and they're getting full with Jansen and Newman. That will be one to watch for sure.
Heavy drive from Ben Johns. Jay Devilliers picks the perfect spot. Outer edge of the backhand corner where Ben was not
5-8-1.
for the side out.
Of course, you have Onsens and Trong in that draw as well after taking down the 3 seed, Parento Alshon. Huge upset. That's way too high.
Second serve.
Jay was asking for mercy in the middle of that point.
Yeah, I might have heard him say I
5-8-2.
touched it or something like that, but he had conceded the point was over. Drop is good.
Point.
There it is. The perfect blend of when to. Jay took his time there, nice and calm, and when it's time to put the ball down, when it's time to get it done, that's when you put it away.
6-8-2.
That's when you bring the heat. Yikes.
Oh, almost landed in. Little cushion from the wind and backboard. Couldn't pull it enough, though. Side out,
8-6-1.
Waters and Johns.
Second serve. 10-2. Point.
That's a big one. Best of 3 to 11, win by 2. Pseudo timeout, quick towel down from Callie Smith.
9-6-2.
Casual drop for neutral.
Point.
All day.
Match point.
Match point for Waters and Johns.
10-6-2. Side out.
Response from Callie Smith, everything on the line, and she counters it back to the open space for the side out.
Clutchy. A lot of pressure on
6-10-1.
this serve possession. A lot of work to get done here. Need at least 4.
Point.
Goes for a lot. As the great coach Dane Gingrich would say, that's in the budget.
7-10-1.
Huge to get that first one. Hold that first serve. Way out.
Second serve.
It's going to put him the second serve.
7-10-2.
So good.
Side out.
Ben Johns, great anticipation, sign out, match point number 2.
Match point.
These two have 240
10-7-1.
wins together on the PPA Tour, just 7 losses.
Point game
And
match.
win number 241 ends like that. Annalie Waters